Klaus Oldenburg was an artist known for his giant soft sculptures of everyday objects. When he moved to New York City, he was inspired by the city life and everyday aspects of it, things that he would see in the store windows and on the street. He started creating soft sculptures of these items, like ice cream cones, cake, French fries, and hamburgers. He said, if you're going to make a sculpture out of real things around you, then why not try to make them soft so that you can push them around and they'll change shape? Today we're going to create a soft sculpture of a piece of pizza. Okay, let's get ready to make our soft sculpture pizza. We're going to take a piece of tan felt and fold it in half. Now, using a piece of chalk, we're going to start at the folded edge right here, and we're going to do a diagonal line to the open edge on the other side. From there, we just have to do a curved line. This is going to be the crust of our pizza, so we're going to curve it instead of making it straight across. Give it a little more dimension. So from the fold to the edge. Now we're going to use 2 pins to hold our fabric in place, our 2 pieces. So I'm going to hold the ball of the pin. I'm going to stick it through both pieces of felt. Then I need to take the end, the sharp end, and poke it back through. So when I do that, I stick it in, I pull it back a little bit, bend my fabric, and come out. Make sure you watch your fingers when you're doing this so you don't pinch them. You also want to make sure that the pins are inside your shape. Now that it's secured in place, we are ready to cut our pizza right on that line. We're going to save our scraps in case we need it for some toppings. Now we are ready to get sewing. Now we're going to take our thread and we're going to make it just a little bit smaller than this messy mat. We're going to tie a knot at the end. So your first step is to make a U. Now take the end, place it on top of the thread to make a 0 or an O. We're going to take that end, tuck it around and through your circle or your O shape, and now you pull both ends and you have your knot. The other end, we're going to thread through our needle eye. This little piece of paper is going to help us get this end through the eye of the needle. So we place the end inside, close it up, make sure the end's tucked in there, not sticking out. This is the eye of the needle. We're going to poke our little paper through the eye, grab a hold of it, pull it through, and then you can remove that, and now we have our needle threaded. I'll leave a little tail, and I'm going to always be mindful of it when I'm sewing because it could come out and then I'd have to re-thread it. So we'll get our pizza. We're going to start at the tip of the pizza right here. I'm always starting in the back. I'm going to poke my needle through both pieces, not too close to the end. It's kind of hard to do this with this much fabric, but you want to make sure you are near both or going through both pieces near the edge. So I've come up, I pulled, my knot has anchored my thread. Now I'm going to go back underneath next to where the thread came out the first time, making sure I've gone through 2 pieces, and I'll pull my thread. This is called a whip stitch. We're going to be whipping around the edge of our pizza. So I go around the outside to the back, looking to see where that needle is going to pop up, making sure it's close. You don't want it too far away. If it's too far away, your stuffing's going to come out. Try to keep them even and straight. You're pulling the thread all the way. And we will continue this till we get to the top of the pizza. Okay, when I was sewing, my thread came out of the eye of my needle. So all I'm going to do is pick up my little threading tool, stick the end in there, close it up, and get it back through the hole, the eye. Oops. Make sure you're pinching it when you get it through that eye. There we go. No big deal. And we will carry on. We talk about craftsmanship with our coloring and our painting. We also want to have it with our sewing. My stitches are pretty evenly spaced out, and we want to make sure we're doing that with our sewing. This is part of your good craftsmanship. If you get a tangle, you have to figure out how to untangle it before you move on. And it might be pulling a couple of your stitches out. Oh, we are just going to make the top here. This is going to be perfect. We won't have to restart our thread. I'm going to show you how to tie this off. Get 2 more stitches in there. My tail's getting stuck in there, so I'm just going to give a gentle pull. I'm not sure which piece of thread it is. Is it the right or the left? We'll find out in a second. There it is. So, last stitch. On this last stitch, don't pull all the way. Leave a little bit of a loop. We're going to take our needle and go through the loop, pulling all of it, even that tail, and give it a little pull. We're going to do it one more time. The second time is going to secure it in place. Pull it through, needle in the hole, and pull it tight. Now we have knotted. I can go ahead and trim my tails. Do not cut off your knot though. If you cut off the knot, your stitches will all come out. So there's my whip stitch along the side. Remove my pins. Now I can take my felt and put it right side out. We sewed it inside out so we wouldn't see the stitches. You may need to take the end of your pencil and just kind of work that tip of the pizza back out. Do it gently so you don't poke a hole in your pizza. Now we're going to get ready to stuff it. Some polyfill that we're going to place in our pizza to make it like a little stuffy. I'm going to work and get it loaded into the bottom first and then pack it into the sides. Not too much. You'll have a choice. You can use grocery bags, which will give it a crinkle, or this polyfill. Now I need to leave some space because I gotta close this up and stitch it. So I think that's pretty good right there. Now getting ready to sew this again, I can take my top and just pin it closed. This will help keep everything together as I stitch. We're going to stitch right along the top here. Another whip stitch. Now that we have this pinned in place, let's go ahead and get ready to sew the top together. So we're going to rethread it, lay our thread in our threader, push it through the eye of the needle, pull it through, leave our tail, tie our end. Remember to make a U fold it over to a O, take the tail, slide it through, and pull your knot. I'm going to start at the end. This stitch will show. It's not going to be enclosed like our whip stitch did before, so we're going to start at the very end, pull it through till it catches, and wrap it around. So it's very important to make it look neat. It's all about our craftsmanship. Do you see how this one there, I'm just going to move that stitch up and pull it. Let's see, my knot's not pulled all the way. There we go. Try to make these neat and even, making sure both pieces of felt are closed. All right, here we are at the very end. We're going to tie this off. You remember we pull it through, leave a loop, take that needle through the loop, pull. Oops, I almost lost my thread. And do it one more time. Then we're going to trim all our ends. This one got tucked in. Make sure you don't tie that knot off. Remove your pin. Now we're ready to get fun with our toppings. What kind of pizza are you gonna have? I decided I just want a pizza with red sauce. I haven't figured out my toppings yet, but if you have a dark felt pizza, maybe you want the brownie pizza with the fruit toppings, with the cream cheese and the strawberries and bananas. I'm gonna lay this on top. I'm gonna slide it up because I want room for my crust. So I'll slide it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to press this down and lightly trace around. I know my pizza can be, my sauce can be a little bit smaller. I don't want a perfectly straight line because I want it to look a little bit more organic. And then the top part, I want it organic too, so I'll just trim that straight edge off. Let's see how it looks on our pizza. That fits perfectly. We're going to go ahead and use a little tacky glue to glue this down. So I'll just do a couple dots on the back of my pizza sauce. Turn it over, line it up. Now I'll move on to what kind of things I want. I could do green peppers, so I found some green fabric. And just gonna cut strips here. So here's some green peppers. I found some black, so maybe I want to do some olives. Do circles, but I think I want to make a little negative space in there, so I'm going to fold this in half. Just cut out the opening, and I have some olive shapes. If you're cutting felt, make sure you do it on the edge and not in the center so you can cut multiple things from it. Maybe I want some yellow. I'll do some cheese. I can just cut some strips here. Or I could be doing some pineapples. Found some orange, maybe try to do some pepperoni with this orange and add some puffy paint for some texture on it. I didn't want to do red because I already have red, but I think I could add some red texture to it. Maybe even I just have half a slice of pepperoni. I have that going right off my slice like it's been cut. All right, let's move these scraps out of the way and start gluing. I'll start with the cheese. And I'm just gonna kind of lay my cheese down, overlapping, going different ways. All right, cheese is done. I'll add my pepperoni. I'm thinking about that one piece that I had partially cut off. So I'll put this and line up that straight edge right there. Definitely makes it look a little bit more realistic. Olives, finding spaces that haven't been used. And finally, my green peppers. Make sure you think about color and space. Overlapping. Ooh, final step, let's add some texture, some puffy paint on your little scrap paper. Just make sure the puffy's working. I wanted to add a little texture to my pepperoni, so I'm just gonna have a couple long dots. Or you could be using some spices. I found some red, shake it down to the bottom, test it, apply it. Puffy paint's gonna take overnight to dry, so try not to fuss with it too much. I'll add some brown. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Added some well-needed extra texture. And there we have our sewn soft pizza sculpture.